Hello and welcome to Cathy Paints. I'm Cathy Wappel on More Than Dice, our podcast channel, and I'm painting some Reaper miniatures today. This is Paladin. Somewhere over here I have the card that came with the blister. This is it. A Landon Elf Paladin. So we've been working on the non-metallic metal yesterday, just kind of blocking in the lightest value, and then on the sword, sort of toying with the darks to lights. The sword is kind of finished. There's maybe a little bit more that I might go back to and fix on it. A couple of rough spots, it looks like. As I put my visor down and I can see this, there's a couple of rough spots. So the non-metallic metal is not even close to done. All we have is blocked in some reflections. So we're going to work on that some more today. And I'm just going to get down into it. I have my dark color. I have a darker gray, I have a lighter gray, and I have white, which is great for doing steel. This is not black. It's a mix of the three colors that are on my palette, the phthalo blue, the clear green, and the clear red mixed together. It makes a nice dark color that is not quite as dark as black. If I were to use black pigment like carbon black or ivory black. Excuse me while I enjoy my hot jasmine tea. That's what I needed. A little tea. I have a little bit of a headache today. And I'm hoping that streaming makes me feel better. So it's one of those weather things, a bit of a headache, sinus headache. You feel tired. But we're just going to work on some NMM today and forget about the rest of the world. Oh, and my computer did an update in the middle of the night, which means, who knows, for some reason my PC might decide it needs to restart again. Because that happens sometimes while I'm streaming, which is always super fun. That's the only time it happens is when I'm streaming. My PC says, after an update, my PC says, I think we're just gonna randomly restart your machine. Fortunately, that only takes a couple minutes instead of, like it used to. It used to be such a pain in the butt to restart your machine, and then it would take 15 minutes for all the startup everything to go. But hey, Real Brush Guy, thank you for the host. Are you do you have an ad, or are you actually here for reals? Hello. Hello. You had no ad today. Well, that's good, I guess. Probably good. I have no idea how ads work. Like, sometimes I get an ad for other people's streams, and sometimes I don't. But usually I do. So, what am I want to smooth out my reflections. See, I just blocked in some reflections here real quick. And it's not, it needs work. I need to be fixing it up. I need to get the lights and the darks to be a little more smoothly blended. Not blended. Maybe that isn't the right word. The transition between the light to dark has to be smoother. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Because there are a lot of different ways to achieve the transition from light to dark or from one color to another. Hey, Trouble. How are you? I saw your, is it the Frost Giantess that you're painting? I love the way the skin is turning out on that. I don't know what to, I don't know what to do. I have a dark gray. I have a lighter gray. Maybe I need to just mix the two of them together in the middle. The Frost Giant Queen from Reaper. Yes. Alright, I think I have a better color. A better color here. So, you know, the thing with non-metallic metal and streaming me painting it is that it takes so much of my focus. I noticed this yesterday that I just end up not talking at all, which is a bit disappointing. I'm not good at explaining what I'm doing with non-metallic metal. So, yeah, it's weird. That's much smoother though. This little thing that I just did here. All of a sudden that little area is much smoother. Hey, Fangwad. Wow. How are you? Fangwad says, Cathy, you'll be thrilled to hear that I put supple to good use over the weekend. A friend was tormenting his wife by describing brownies as moist. I then described them as supple, and she just turned around and walked away. They're both good words. Good, solid, descriptive words. Hey, Asmo. I never would have thought to describe brownies as supple, but why not? Why not? Why not supple? Wait, what is the, like, I have an idea of what supple means, but I'm interested to know what the dictionary definition of supple is, in fact. For all of our education, this is educational, is what's happening right now. We want to educate. Also, I need something to distract me from not talking while I paint non-metallic metal. Because as I was just explaining to, I'm having a difficult time talking about non-metallic metal as I paint it. Because I'm too busy trying to focus on what I'm doing with it, because it's it is a challenge for me. It always has been. Fangwad says, I picked up the Dark Agnes book from my grandparents and I learned why you started saying it. The word appears a lot. Dark Agnes? What is that? Dark Agnes. The reason why I started saying it, Fangwad, is because it kept appearing in all the Conan books that I was reading. Trouble says, supple, bending, and moving easily and gracefully. flexible. So you want your Dark Agnes is a Robert E. Howard character who appears in like 3 stories. I have had no idea. I have no idea. Well, I've only read 3 or 4, maybe 4 Robert E. Howard stories. So I'm very new to that. I know he wrote a ton of them because my brother has a whole bunch of them, but I never read them. But yeah, in his earlier days, he definitely liked to use the word supple way too often. The book, literally the only Robert E. Howard that I have read. I did hear that she was one of his more interesting characters. I'm curious. Now I'll have to find some more Robert E. Howard because it was really fun reading those out loud. I definitely want to return to that at some point after I finish A Princess of Mars. Captain Mizzy, thank you for contributing to the Stop Being Weird Gonzo challenge. Bending and moving easily and gracefully. Flexible. That is what supple is. And I find it interesting that he chose to use that word to describe skin. Her skin moves easily and gracefully. It's flexible. See, that kind of sounds creepy. Doesn't that sound creepy when you read it like that? It's a bit worrisome. That's almost like, why are you looking at my skin in that way? You want to use it for some other purpose than what it was intended? Fangwad says, I went to my grandparents' house to prepare for an estate sale and found the Mars books that I originally read when I was a kid. Oh, cool. Sucks that you have to prepare for an estate sale. That's never an easy thing for a parent or grandparent. All right. So I have a kind of a dark to light sort of blend of colors going here on the palette. And depending on what I want to do, I feel like that's a good way to start. And we did the sword yesterday. Let's just move on up the arm. I want to smooth out the transition between light and dark here. And I know it might shock you to learn, I'm using a sable brush for this. I know, it's crazy. It's a mad world. Mad world. Alright. Shoulder. Yeah, this just be talking my way through this. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it would be very exciting, but here it is. That also seems a bit smoother. And there are a few places where I want to put some darks in there. Increase the contrast, increase the I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words. Snowyak, hello. You forgot it was Cathy o'clock. Well, it's good to see you, Snowyak. You're not that late. How are you today? Oh, the first A Princess of Mars, the one that I'm reading right now. Well, not not right now, but on my Friday reading streams. We're on chapter 15, 17, somewhere in there. Right around there. I'm glad you're doing well, Snowyak. I'm just painting non-metallic metal. And it turns out it's not super exciting to talk about while I'm doing it. I'd love to say it was going to be riveting, but it's starting to look better than it was yesterday, so that's it's a positive thing. Tell me a story. Tell me funny stories. Amuse me. Oh, chat. I know. You're thinking it's my responsibility as a streamer to amuse you. But no, you would be mistaken. It is your responsibility to amuse me, in fact. Here's one of those areas that I always like to say, I like the dark part up at the top of a surface, and I like it to just sort of fade to lighter. So darker at the top, and then it just sort of gets lighter as it goes down the surface. And usually that's how I like to do NMM on vertical surfaces like that, how that's just kind of vertical to the ground. And just smoothing things out. I don't remember if I only did this arm or if I already did this shoulder pad. Wow. That's where my head is. Easily distracted the last couple of days. I just wiped out my lighter highlight there. So we always like to say, well, I always like to say, there's a lot of back and forth when you're painting non-metallic metal. There's a lot of going back over things. Like something's too dark, you slowly lighten it up. And then it's too light, and you go back and you make it darker again. And then you go back and work it lighter. And you just keep going back and forth until finally you get that well blended, nice transition between your light and your dark. And I want a little blue mixed in with my gray right in this one area because it's reflecting the blue of this robe. Wow, there's a helicopter going overhead. That sounded really loud to me, and I'm sure my mic didn't pick it up at all. Snoyak says, it was a busy day at work, yet my ride home was awesome. The gospel on the ears, hard wind at the tail, and the sun on my bare arms. No schouder. That's a good feeling. Just that feeling of the sun on your skin. And you felt blessed. Oh, that's the best. That's how I felt when I was at my mom and dad's. I'm just sitting there enjoying the sun on my skin and listening to the birds and the trees, surrounded by trees, and it was just very peaceful. Wait, Brush Guy just crashed a bus? Oh no. Snowyx is also my son made his first year at his high school. Already told him he's better than me already. Oh, nice. Brush Guy said, "Is that exciting enough for you?" No, not. What happened with your and a 3D printed stuff is very brittle. It can be printed again if you have a printer. All that paint talk, does Cathy need to compensate? Wait, what am I compensating for? I need distractions. I need painting. I need to concentrate on my painting, and yet I'm looking for distractions. Is that a normal feeling? I feel like a lot of us feel that way. No chance for ever printing that again. You have a resin puzzle now. Oh, what a pain. Oh, Asmo has redeemed Stretch. Distractions? What? Distractions. Hooray. This is what we need. Hello there. It's time for exercise. It's our ruggedly handsome Stretch Armstrong. Yep. I'm still not talking. That's just a weird. This is a weird day. Weird. This is my first week back, and apparently I'm just a mute. Snow Hicks says, "Hello there, ladies." Yes, that's what Stretch is saying. Hello there, ladies. Finglud says, more exciting things. When I turned on my computer yesterday morning, there was a loud pop and then nothing. Fortunately, it was just the PSU, which I replaced today, and it's working again. Oof. I don't even know what the PSU is, so I'll just pretend like I understand that. A pop is never a good thing on your computer. Not in any sense. Ever. Power supply. Thank you. You just ordered a monster PC today? Ooh, Schnoyak's got a new one. So the old PC was completely busted. That's that's too bad. Well, that was mine. Mine was it a year ago? I think. Maybe it was a little over a year ago. Uh and and my friend like just replaced the hard drive and did upgrade for me cuz that's what he does for a living. So he was like, "Just bring it over." No, it was the year before last because we were not yet in the midst of our COVID stuff. So, yeah. The main board broke and that was a unique design and you never realized that. Ugh. That just sounds awful. Oh, Misco. Hey, Misco. Misco redeemed Hail Hydrate. I have water in this cup for you, Misco. That's my water cup. That is my Reaper. It's my Reaper cup. Hell Runners, Reaper miniatures, ReaperCon Online. No, ReaperConLive.com. You know what I'm saying. Snowyak says I have milk. I do not drink milk. Milk is bad for me. Sadly. But enjoy it. Enjoy it. I hope it's cool and refreshing. We're gonna go back to doing some actual miniature painting. Non-metallic metal is what I am trying to do here. And I think I need a little bit of a highlight on the underside of this. The robe he has is going to reflect on the shield here. It's not going to be a really bright light color. I think it needs a little yellow, a little purple. But also more white because that's too dark. So we've made mauve, clear purple and clear yellow. No, clear purple and golden yellow make a really nice mauve color when you add white to it. So I just have this little bit of yellow we're going to throw in there, yellow and white together. See, I'm trying to get down in here for this highlight on the inside of the shield, which you can barely see. But you get a glimpse of it as I turn the model a little. What is Streamlabs saying? Want to help the podcast? Grab some cool wargaming widgets. I don't know. I never know what to say to that with the bot thing because I had to ask them, John and Gonzo. I'm like, what is that wargaming widgets? What does that mean? Like measuring tools and objective marker things. Stuff that I don't really know that much about from because they were intended for like War Machine and Hordes. And I don't play War Machine and Hordes. I'm sure you could use them for other games too, though. Like, I know there's objective markers and stuff in Warcry, which I haven't played since 2 years ago. It's been 2 years since I've played Warcry. My poor iron golems are just sitting alone and unloved in my box of painted minis. Because that's where they all go. They all go in my box of painted minis. I really should get a display cabinet someday for the minis that I hold on to. I suppose. Probably. We're going to get another tiny little bit of an even darker color on this, on the top of this. There. It's a little more contrast. It all of a sudden looks a little more shiny. right there. I have to say, I'm already looking forward to my next reading stream on Friday. We did a real estate stream on Big Jim Slay Gaming's channel last night, and that was super fun. It was so silly. It's always silly. Unfortunately, this time there's not a VOD because of an oversight, but it was crazy. Fangwad says, if you have any questions about War Machine widgets, I can probably answer them. I didn't even know that's what they had, just widgets. They call them widgets. Like, there's not an actual name for it, so they're like the thingamajigs. That's what a widget is. A widget is a thingamajig. It's a whatchamacallit. It's a whoosy what's it. A thingy. That's what a widget is. So I find it amusing that that's what they decided to call those. And I never heard that in Sibstorm. A whatchamacallit is a candy bar. What do you call it? No, whatchamacallit. Fangwad says, well, each one usually has a name, but collectively they are called widgets. Right, so you have like measuring things, and you have objective markers, and you have... I mean, we have objective markers in other games, but we just call them objective markers, and I never thought of classing all the things together just collectively as, widgets. Do you know what I mean? Blast templates. So, yeah, I never heard it called that in all my Warhammer. It was only when I started hanging out with John and Gonzo and doing their podcast that I heard them called widgets. In all my years. Oh, what else am I gonna do? Oh, the legs. Oh, I needed some, I needed a little more reflection on the legs, and I did paint over this. This is what I was going to do before I started doing the stretch. And this is just how it's going to be today. And probably tomorrow until my reading stream, in which case I'll just be reading, and it will be wonderful, and I will love it. This is non-metallic metal for me. It's just, yeah. It just takes too much focus. Like, I should be doing my NMM off stream. I know there's people that want to see it, but I just stopped talking. I don't want to stop talking. Brush Guy says there are widgets on my phone. Yeah, I have widgets on my phone. I don't know why they call those widgets too. It's a catch-all sort of a name. Better than thingies. It is not as good as Whoozy What's It. Hand me the Whoozy What's It. I would like the Ratchet Whoozy What's It, please. Thank you. Hey, Mitsukart! Mitsukart is one of the people that I got to see in person in Minnesota when I was up there visiting. A thingamabob. Thank you. Doodads, thingamabobs, whoosie whatsits, thingamajigs. Yeah. There are so many words. What do they call it in Germany? What do they what is it in the Netherlands? Something like that. Where it's just a word that just means just stuff, random something or other. Thingamabob. It's a doodad. Because you just can't think of the name. Maybe they're from Wichita. No. What? He's just making shit up. Krimskram? Kinkerliedchen? Zoik? Zoiks? 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 I'm just going to say that about 4 times, just like I do with every word that I don't recognize. Dingetjes? Dingetjes and datjes. That's like this and that, sort of. It, do you say it, zoiks? Is that reasonably close? Zoiks? Things and that. Or like stuff and things is another one. Hey Jarrett. We're just talking about oh thanks, brush guy, thank you. We're just talking about all the different words for thingamajig, for a widget. It's, a widget, a thingamajig, a thingamabob, a doodad. Dingetjes and datjes. Bits and bobs, yeah. And then I was curious about what they say in other countries, because naturally I am. Brush guy says, but the widgets on my phone stay widgets in German. Tutors and Bellin. Toot, tutors and Bella. Tutors and Bella? Tutors? Tutors and Bella? I'm terrible at figuring out where the accent goes in a word, which part of the word you stress. I still have not figured that out. It's like bells and whistles. That's what it seems to me, bells and whistles. Toeters en bellen. Ik heb geen toeters en bellen nodig. Ik wil alleen wassen. I have no whistles and bells. I I don't need whistles and bells. I want what is wassen? I don't know what wassen is. I only want wassen. This is I can understand written way easier than to do I only want to do the laundry? What? Is that what you're doing tonight, Snowyak? Are you doing laundry? Are you folding clothes? Is it time to put some more darks on here? I think it's time to put some more darks on here. I only want to wash my stuff. So that's almost what I said to the sales guy when I had to get my new phone in Minnesota. Oh, Chris, I got my phone like after I left you guys. I went out to the phone place and got a new phone because I was with them when my phone just started malfunctioning. And so now I had to learn all the new things, but I had to go to the store and be like, I don't want the Galaxy S 20,000, please. I don't need that. I feel like this phone is too big. It's it's too big. It's too big for my hand to hold comfortably, you know? Needless. It's needlessly big. It's pointlessly big. I don't watch TV on my phone. 20,000? No. There is a Galaxy S20. I think there's an S21 now. I was over here on my 7. But now apparently I have almost the same phone as Brush Guy has. Yeah, it's big. It's like, yeah, it's not quite that big. I'll show you. So, here's my Kindle. This is my Kindle. I mean, it's a little smaller. It's in its case, right? Easy to hold for a book. That's what it's for. And this is my phone. Whoops. Stop it. And the buttons of this cheap ass case that I got make it super easy to accidentally turn it on. So they're like, look at how big this is next to my head. Who needs that? Who needs that? Who needs it to be, that big? This is like in my hands. It's stupid. So there's my rant about my phone. You have a Galaxy Age of Sigmar, Snowyak? It is huge. It's stupid. Yeah. Fangwad says, yeah, I'm getting a smaller phone next time, too. Snowyak says, we are old-fashioned in Europe, it seems. The Galaxy S40,000. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I should have had Snowyak sell me a phone. You do that, right? Should have called you. No, I couldn't because my phone was malfunctioning. Sibstorm says the wife loves those huge ass phones. Ugh, I hate it. But that's the thing is, I don't watch things I don't watch shows. I don't play games. You know, like I had one word game that I played on my other phone, but when everything transferred to this one, uh, none of the none of my progress in my word game transferred. So I said fuck it and just uninstalled it. Like I don't need to do this whole thing again. They had that word game in, was it 4 languages or 7 languages? But none of them was Dutch, which I mean, understandable, I guess. But yeah, it would have been really cool if one of them was Dutch. Mizzy says I'm half blind, so I like the bigger screen. The iPhone, I don't do the iPhone thing. So I ended up with the Galaxy A52 5G. Yes, I solved the entire word game. I just liked it because in the middle of the night, it gave me something to do if I couldn't sleep. And then I could just like find words and until I felt my eyes starting to close. And then I just fall asleep again. It was perfect for that because I didn't need to think too hard with it. Mizzy says, I blame Gonzo for my switch to iPhone. Yeah, I get a lot of people trying to convince me that I should switch to an iPhone, and I was like, I've been happy with my phones, my Android phones. I don't have a problem with them at all, so why would I change? There is no sheep counting in that word game. And that's the real reason why I deleted it, because there was no sheep counting. You can send me photos of sheep. I'll message you the next time I can't sleep. Send me pictures of sheep, please. Snowhick says, I have more sheep. I'll message you too. Just send me pictures of sheep, because you're probably awake when I can't sleep. Everybody in Europe's at work when I'm sitting up and I can't sleep. Or they're eating breakfast or something. It was not a sheep phone. No. Mizzy has to go back to Lurky Worky. Alright, what are we oh, dark. We want a dark color. It was not a, only just now did I get that, Brush Guy. Only just now did that filter into my brain. It was not a sheep phone. Actually, this one, no, it wasn't. It was expensive. It was not a sheep phone. See, it took me a while. I'm slow. Sibstorm says, I hate dealing with anyone, companies in Ireland. Every time, either I get no response or I finally get someone on the phone and they're driving in their car. That's weird. I have never had to deal with companies in Ireland. Like Schnitz and Giggles. Schnitz and Giggles. If I ever have Schnitz and Giggles, I will send you a picture. I have had schnitzel and I have giggled. I have giggled while eating schnitzel. Prost. Is it this? Wait, is it the same in Dutch? Is it Prost? Look, I've been practicing my R's. And I'm starting to get the sense that depending on where you are, like in the Netherlands, you pronounce them a little bit differently. Is that right, or am I just imagining it? Okay. Oh, I want the dark color. I just stuck my brush in the white, but I want my dark color. That's what I'm... In the south, the R is very modest. Okay, so the closer you get to Belgium, then okay, interesting. Do you want to be famous? Asmo, quick! Now's your chance. Oh, Brush Guy was too fast. Still no fame for Asmo. Still no fame. I know, Asmo. Snoyak says in Amsterdam it is more like a street fighter or New York dialect. In the East, it's Midwest farmer talk. So you're saying I should live in the East when I eventually move to the Netherlands, because I am totally Midwest farmer talk. Not like Iowa farmer talk. Well, it's more like South Canada, Midwest. Jarrett's like, who's Asmo? Like, I've never heard of that. Who's the... They need it. They should have clicked the link. Yeah. Yeah. Soniac says, and in Friesland, if it is Louisiana, Louisiana, like y'all, Louisiana, like New Orleans. That's interesting. I am not good enough to really pick up on accents or dialects. I am just amazed that I noticed that ours seem to be pronounced differently by different people, which I guess is one sign that I'm learning things, so that makes me happy. Dark color, dark color, dark color. Brush Guy says pirates pronounce them like R. Yeah, but is it R? Or is it R? Or does it R? R. Fangwad says I was near Amsterdam a few weeks ago. Amsterdam, New York. Oh, smartass. Cookie! Hey, Cookie! It's the Cathy Wappel Show! Like that, Cookie? Wait. Yay! That's the Kermit the Frog arm flail. Yep. And then you wave your arms like that. Yes. How did I know? How did I know? Well, not entirely surprising. I am a Muppet after all. The big cities have all different dialects. Well, yeah, that makes sense. There is the proper GIF in the Facebook Messenger for. There is. There are a lot of GIFs for that. A lovely Muppet. Aw. Thank you. Bedankt. I need to hang out with you more so that I can actually know how to pronounce words like that. Because I'll say them and then I will wonder if I said it right. Fangwad says Privateer Press is putting out an alternate model called Hermit the Frog. Cookie says does we need a Cathy Wappel Muppet? Hey, Nixel. Nixel says, is there a command to know if you're using oils or acrylics? There is not, but if you see my wet palette in front of me, then you know that it's acrylics. Or you can ask, and then I'm happy to tell you. Always happy to tell you. Brush Guy says yes, and we need more puppet stream. You're welcome, Nixel. I would way rather be friendly than mean. So, my dark color, I still haven't. Nixel says, by the way, you crushed it on Big Jim Slade's stream. Totally upped his entertainment quality. Oh, thanks, Nixel. We had so much fun. That Florida house was ridiculous. And the Audrey Hepburn from hell stare, staring you down as you poop, that's going to live in infamy. Brush Guy says, one day I will stay up super late. I didn't even realize there was going to be a real estate stream. He was going to do it last week, but something came up, and then he rescheduled it for Tuesday, and I completely forgot. And then Tuesday morning, he was like, "Oh yeah, real estate stream," and I was like, "Oh, that's right, yes." So I didn't even get to say, but it was on a Tuesday anyways, so you would not have been able to stay up late for that. Not like if it was on a weekend. I hope that bust is not too painful to put together. That's never a fun thing to break something and then have to figure out how it all goes together. Nixel says Misko and I were in chat, the only people not in the elite chat. It's not elite. It's just some of us who started screwing around with that months ago. Snowyak says, I've just been thinking if the world was as friendly as my strange bunch of colleagues, there would be no war no more. Just an occasional angry face, yet a hug the next day. Well, that is a sweet thought. It would be nice. Nixel says, by the way, I've bid on some mannequins. If you get random limbs, don't be alarmed. Oh, do you think it's against Toss to sculpt genitalia on a stream? I might have to reread the rules. Brush Guy says her collar broke off into a few pieces, but I now have found all of them on the floor. Okay, that's good though. Usually it's some piece bounces into some place, God knows where, and you never find it until like a year later. After you've resculpted the part and finished painting the model, then you discover it. That's usually how that goes. Snowyak says some people make genitalia cookies. I have seen those cookies. I'm talking about so last night in the real estate stream there were mannequins. And in a previous real estate stream, previously on Questionable Real Estate, there was an episode where we were in a house and they had a bunch of mannequins all dressed up. And two of them were on some kind of a stand that had a mirror on the floor. part. So like the mirror was showing up. So we're like, why is there a mirror underneath these mannequins? Is it so that you can see what's underneath their dresses? You know? Speculating maybe you see what's under the dresses, but they're just mannequins. And I was like, well, what if somebody sculpted, genitalia on them, and then they've got the mirror there so you can show it off, right? So that's when we started talking about the possibility of me uh, doing that, sculpting genitalia onto mannequins, as one does. Nixel says trying to figure out if $400 is really worth the gay gift level. Oh, no, that's out. That's way above gay gift. Gay gift is like $5, $10 maybe. No, that is not worth it. Get off the fence, Nixel. Get off the fence. Rush Guy says if it is an anatomical stream, as brittle as 3D resin is, it also breaks very clean and it can be glued easily. Yes, that's a bonus. If you find all the parts. Yeah, mannequins again. The upskirt mannequins. Yeah, you just call it art. It is art. It absolutely would be art. Snowyak says, there once was a man on Dutch TV show who sculpted for Ken as the man pitied him. Oh God, that would be... I mean, look at this poor guy. You know? Mike Disney! Hola, Mike Disney! And Megan, hi! I'm just stretching, little stretch. This is, yeah, a little stretch. So we were just talking about sculpting genitalia on mannequins, and then Snowyak was like, this guy sculpted for Ken, of Ken and Barbie fame, obviously, I'm assuming. And show, yeah, but that's Dutch TV. See, the Dutch don't care about things like that. Here in the US, I don't know why, but people get their undies all in a bunch about that sort of thing. Yay! Sentimental Minis is raiding. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Sentimental Minis. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you so much. If you're behind an ad wall, you're probably not hearing me say this. And I apologize. But you're not hearing me, so that probably doesn't make any difference. Snowyak says, I saw a Muppet. Wait, what Muppet? Oh, yes, you did. That is the Muppet of rating. I have two Muppets. I have a Muppet for when people host it, and then there's Beaker, who is completely in shock, like what's happening, because I never know. When a raid is always a surprise. How are you, Sentimental Minis? Welcome in. Tell us about your stream. Tell us what you were doing. Please. We all love Muppets. I'm pretty sure we all love Muppets here. That's the consensus. Is there anyone here who does not like Muppets? I'm not going to judge. If you don't like Muppets, that's okay. I'm just curious. Anybody who doesn't like Muppets? Battler, hello. Sentimental was painting one of the dark elves from Bones 5. Ooh, so you got your Bones 5. Nice. Hey, Agent Meeple. How are you? I haven't seen you in forever. Agent Meeple hates Muppets. Okay. Okay. Did they wrong you as a child? Battler says Fraggles rule. Mike says everyone is getting their overgourd. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my god, that's so cool. I didn't do the Kickstarter. I'm gonna get my overgourd later. Hey, Zambies. Zambies is jump hugging Art of Mike Disney. Yeah, no, Mike is a good person to leap onto with a tackle hug. He's a good hugger. I know, I know. I've had a Mike Disney hug. Hey, Gel Tip. How are you, Gel Tip? All the friends showing up. I zombie you. There are so many lovely folks here, and you're one of them. M- Mike Disney says Cathy has hugged this man many times, and I will do it again one day, Mike Disney. So I've just been slowly, ever so slowly, working on the non-metallic metal on this armor. Like, really slowly. Because, let me tell you, non-metallic metal is always a challenge for me. Even though I don't use metallic paints because I never learned how. Um, it's always a challenge. Like, I know I can do it, but I always have to think really hard about what I'm doing while I'm doing it, which means I tend to just shut up, which is kind of boring if I'm painting on a stream with people. So maybe I take and finish the non-metallic metal off stream and start doing something else. That might be the way to go. It only takes me like an hour to figure that out. So the Dark Elf. I'm out of touch with Bones 5. I don't know what all the stuff is. Like, I know the Overgourd. I know some of the stuff, but I didn't watch I didn't religiously watch all the Reaper streams about it, so I don't know what all is in there. And of course, I don't have room in my house for another Bones Kickstarter. I know there's other people that are in that same boat. So I'll just be grabbing models piecemeal and paying full price, like the Overgourd, because that will be mine. Yeah, not long, Zambies. Yeah, a few more weeks and Zambies is going to be one of us again. Cuz you're from up in this area, aren't you? Originally, Zambies? I feel like I've lost the thread of the chat. I need to back up. Oh, where Zambi said, "Oh my god, I want to paint the gourd." I know, right? That's going to be so much fun. Mizzy says, if you hate Muppets, donate to the Make Gonzo Stop Being Weird. That's a community challenge here for channel points. I should say that that's there because on Sunday nights I have a podcast with my friends Gonzo and John, and we just talk about all things geeky. We talk about the hobby and the painting and the wargaming and the role-playing games and all the stuff. And, the movies we're watching and how I was binging, well, am really binging still Space 1999 or whatever other movies that we're watching. and talk about that stuff. Sentimental Minis is going to be lurky. That's fine. Hey, thanks again for the raid, Sentimental Minis. I appreciate it. Zambi says, I best be getting a Mike D hug. Oh, you will. And someday you'll get a Cathy hug. And someday I'll get a Zambi's hug. And it will be the best. Less than a month in LB, Cathy. That's hilarious. I'll be close to Cathy. Funny typo. Sentimental Minis might not have room either, and yet, yeah, still did it. Meeples says time for an extension, Cathy. Oh, Zambies, that sounds like so much fun. Packaging, selling, realtors, inspections, appraisals, loans. Ugh. Ugh. Close to Eenie Meenie. Yeah. I've only met Eenie once. We were at a convention together. Enie's awesome. Oh, that's going to be fun. We're going to have like some kind of a community paint night thing, get together sort of thing. Hey, Trash Panda. Shell Tip says, oh my gosh, Space 1999. I haven't seen that in years. I had never seen it before, Gel Tip. I had never seen it before. Space 1999 came out in 1974. And there's like 20 something episodes of the first season and probably the same amount of the second season. I think I only have like 3 episodes left of the first season. And I was busy watching Star Trek reruns, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember that ever being on when I was a kid. I remember my mom always having Star Trek on, though. Zambies goes, not to brag, but I'm a good hugger. I'm sure you are. I am certain of that. We will test it out, too. We're going to have a hug off, Zambies. It's gonna be a hug off. We're like, who hugs harder? Who hugs better? We're just gonna have to keep doing it until somebody comes to a consensus. It's possible it could be a tie, but now do we need somebody like in between who's like a judge? Do we need like a judge like right in between us to test this out? Hey, zombies says if this stream got together in the reels, there would be y'all Adepticon 2022. There's going to be so many of us there, and I am so looking forward to that already. Like, I was looking forward to that last year. Zambi says, so this is Cathy Zambi's hugging sandwich. It kind of is, kind of a sandwich. Yeah. It's the hug off, and you need a judge, right? I mean, naturally, they have to be in the middle. Where else, how else would they know? You know? You gotta both sides see. Yeah. I feel like this is a good thing. This is a good idea. The hug off booth. Are you volunteering to run the hug off booth, Gel Tip? They always need volunteers. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. That's always what you want to hear, right? I pick up this model. I have no idea what I'm doing with it. I think on this part, it's supposed to look like sort of clouds and air. So I want the outer parts to be darker than the inner parts. Because clouds sometimes have that weird lit from within sort of thing happening. Uh, we'll see. It's all a work in progress. So her hair is going to be bluish white, and I have phthalo blue out on my palette. I feel like, what if I love phthalo blue, especially you mix it with white and a little bit of green, you get this really nice sort of teal aqua color. My rinse cup was way too far away from me. Do I want it to be like a purpley? Do I need some magenta in it? I mean, that's a silly question. Of course I need magenta in it. Of course. Of course. So we're going to throw some magenta in that. It's going to make it a little more purpley. Oh, I love phthalo blue and magenta together. These are the Reaper Clear paints. As you hear me talking about the paints, these are all the paints I'm using right now are Reaper Clear paints mixed together. Snowyak says, see you later, Cathy. Bye, folks. Good night, Snowyak. Weltrusten. Slap lekker. She says in Dutch, which means good night. Rest well. All right, so I'm going to take some water on my this is my fancy water reservoir that I keep on my palette. So I can just dip my brush if I just want to control the amount of water going into my brush better than trying to dip it into the big the big rinse cup of filthy water. This water was clean yesterday. And I know there are people who insist that it should be clean every day and always with distilled water, but I like to live dangerously. I am widely known to be a barbarian. Trash Pan, it says cleaning it every day seems like a lot of work. I know, right? Every day, dump it out, put fresh water in there every day. It's so hard. And the kitchen is like right there. It's so far away. So many steps. So many steps. I don't know how I survive it. But I'll tell you, after day 3, that is definitely getting dumped. I could go 3 days tops. Tops. Trash Panda says, I have to actually climb steps. Not happening. We don't have a lot of steps in this house, so I don't have to worry about that too much. I know, climbing steps is hard. Alright, so I'm just doing a little bit of a wash. Straight up wash. the underside of this with this blue magenta color. There's a little bit of white mixed in with it. You can see it settling into some of the recesses. Now I'm going to rinse my brush out completely so there's only water in it. And I'm going to go back to where the edge of that paint is. And just thin that edge out. Then I'm going to rinse my brush again and do that some more. And now there's not an edge at all, and it's just this sort of transition from this darker blue up to the lighter area. And there's, in the deepest recesses, there's darker bits of this color. When I set up these models to paint, I did a value sketch, what some people call a grisaille, some people call it underpainting. And what it is it's just a way to establish your lights and darks. You kind of pre-shade it. Agent Meeple says, it's all the extra weight of carrying the water. That's the deal breaker, Shirley. Yes, this cup is heavy. It's so heavy. Or maybe I'm just lazy. It could be that. It could be that too. Trash Panda says, for sure, ramekins are super heavy when filled with water. Yes. Nixel says, do you think we can get Dio to run another one-shot for us? I bet if we asked him to, he would. Brush Guy says, some people call it Space Cowboy. Wait, what are we calling Space Cowboy? Some people call it the Gangster of Love. Reimer, hi! Why do people say to use distilled water when half of them turn around and then stick the brush in their mouth? That is a very good question, Reimer. I do not understand why people stick the brush in their mouth. I mean, on the one hand, I guess I understand it because they insist that, it puts a tip on the brush, and on the other hand, I think, ew, 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 ew. So, that's not me. And I'm not worried about using distilled water. I have pretty good water. I can understand if a person has water from their tap that is really hard. It's got a lot of minerals in it, like a lot of minerals, because some places the water really has a lot of minerals, and that can affect the paint. It can affect the wet palette, it can affect the brushes. So in that case, I can understand using distilled water. Trash Panda says, my cat likes dirty paint water. Yeah, my cat liked that too. I never understood that. He was a weirdo. But you know what he liked to do? He liked to just stick his paw in it and then tip things over. Anything that had water in it. Couldn't leave a glass of water anywhere and the cat would tip it over. Once I had a vase of cut flowers and it was sitting on my desk next to my minis that were ready to be shipped to somebody who had bought them. And the cat tipped the vase of cut flowers and water over onto the minis. Now, the vase didn't hit the minis, but the water hit the minis. And I was uncertain as to whether just letting them dry out naturally would work or not. Oh, Nixel, silly boy, I don't do Transformers. I will stretch for you, though. In lieu of transforming, because I do not have Transformers. That is a John. That's a John O. Spencer thing. Transformers. So, but I will stretch. Hello, ladies. I'm Stretch Armstrong. We're stretching. We're stretching. Gel tip is definitely on the I am not eating paint train. Yeah, that's a good train to be on. It's a good train to be on. I don't care what they say about paint not being toxic and stuff. Like some pigments, I just don't think in the long run that's a good idea. I can't help it. Agent Meeple says, gotta go, bedtime here. Well, thanks for hanging out for a little while, Agent Meeple. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Sleep well. I know it's late where you are. There's Stretch's sexy foot. Look at that. Look at that ankle. Look at that well-defined calf. Right, Asmo, non-toxic does not mean good for you. He is. He is so supple. Look at that. So flexible, graceful, soft. Let's not forget the legs. All right, stretch. Trash Panda, that's Stretch Armstrong. John Carter doesn't look anything like that. He has brown hair. Although I'm telling you, if I get the tiny stretch, the world's smallest Stretch Armstrong, I'm going to do a repaint on its face on stream. Nixel says my wife wants to spend $5,000 on our car. We need a complete exhaust and struts. Do you plan to have the car for a long time? Or is it time to get a new car? Because I feel like at $5,000, maybe that's about the time I start thinking, there's 100,000 miles on it. That's a lot. That's a lot of channel points. But a new car is 20,000. So yeah, that is the conundrum we all face. Those of us that have cars. So let's do this blue on the front part of the hair. I did it on the back and I just realized that I never did it on the front part, so that would be helpful. Again, I applied the blue and then I rinsed my brush off entirely, and I'm just using the damp bristles to push the edge of the paint around. And then, of course, get my finger in there and maybe wipe a little bit of the excess off. We haven't even got to highlighting this yet. Let's go under here next to the face. So this is a Air Genasi. This model, well, the model itself is not technically an Air Genasi, but it is representing a character who is an Air Genasi. So we wanted the hair to be blue and the skin to be kind of a slightly different bluish hue, maybe slightly blue, slightly lighter, maybe a little bit of magenta. Oof, I've got bristles sticking out here. So I'm using this sable brush, and I'm not used to it. I'm used to using synthetic brushes. And I'm wondering, you really need to have more moisture in the bristles. Is that fair to say, brush guy? I know you've been using sable brushes forever. You just need that a lot more water in it than with a synthetic brush, I think. So often I think the bristles are sticking out because I don't have enough water in the brush itself. Hey, Richard Reed. How are you? That's good to see you. What is the right answer, Cathy? Am I like the magic 8 ball? Shake me and see what answer you get. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to like it, whether it's correct or not correct. And how is Richard Reed's? I see your name, and all I think is, what is Richard reading? If Richard reads, what's he reading? Mitsukart, check back later. That's a good answer. Doing good, just relaxing. Nice. Good, good, good. Did you just get off work? Or are you at work? I don't even where do you live? I mean, in the grand scheme of the world, what time zone are you in? Not like, what's your address? I don't need to know exactly where you live. Sibstorm wants to know, Nixel, why does it need a new exhaust? Maybe it's got holes in it. Maybe the muffler fell off. Maybe the manifold needs replacing. Maybe the entire car is just fucked. Exhaust and struts. Richard says, haha, I'm actually off all week and I'm a couple miles from you and Jim. Okay, that's funny. So Central Time Zone it is. Simstorm says, I mean, they could live someplace that uses a lot of road salts and it ate through the exhaust tubing. Ah, well, that would be like where I live, in Chicago area. Nixel says the manifold has a crack and it's 12 years old. Yeah. Yeah, the manifold. Manifold destiny. It was platinum exhaust manifold. Ooh, she has like a flower in her hair. And so I'm wondering what color that should be. Sort of a, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Maybe once I get the hair done more, we'll figure out how we want to do this flower. My initial thought was pink, but well, my initial thought was red, but then I was like, red might be too obnoxious for the overall color scheme. And then I thought pink, but then I thought, oh, I mean, pink flower, girl hair. Sibstorm says, a manifold crack sounds to me like there might be something more going on. Like the engine ran out of oil? No, I don't know. I don't know. Brush Guy says I can't keep my headlights open. Aww. Well, it's understandable. You have a good night. Schlaf gut. And hopefully you have a good day tomorrow. Richard reads, yep, good old Central Standard Time here, reading Goth by Ats, Atsu, Atsuichi? Atsuichi? Otsuichi? Hmm, no idea. You're at the beginning of it? So, Goth. So what kind of goth? Is it like Visigoths? Ostrogoths? Uh like Jesus and Mary Chain goths? What kind of goths are we talking about? Richard says, I finished up Secret Rendezvous by Kobo Abe last month and loved it. Marino is the strangest girl in school. How could she not be, given her obsession with brutal murders? And there are plenty of murders to grow obsessed with, as the town in which she lives is a magnet for serial killers. She and her schoolmates will go to any length to investigate the murders, even putting their own bodies on the line. And they don't want to stop the killers. Marino and her friend simply want to understand them. Wouldn't it be a better world if all we wanted to do was understand the killers? Sib Storms. Jesus and Mary Chain, that is a name I have not heard in a long time. I'm picturing Obi-Wan saying that. Just so you know. In case that's what you were. I liked the Jesus and Mary Chain. I liked Sisters of Mercy. Yes. I was just having that discussion like yesterday. I was reminded of the Sisters of Mercy and the song Lucretia My Reflection, which was I think that was probably my favorite song by Sisters of Mercy. I think that's fair to say. Hmm. I need more blue. So I'm mixing up a color for flesh tone, and I feel like it needs magenta and it needs blue. Vision thing, Dr. Jeep, Lucretia. What? What? Typo negative. I never listened to typo negative. I had a friend who was absolutely nuts for them. And she used to. I know. She used to listen to typo negative in Nitzareb. You used to use that for your Shadowrun sound. Oh, that would be good for a Shadowrun soundtrack. Like I know names of songs. That's like asking me to name names of episodes of Star Trek. Like I've seen every episode of Star Trek original series a million times. Do I know what any of the episodes are called? Maybe The Trouble with Tribbles? I think that's what that one was called. Otherwise, no. I have no idea. Things I don't pay attention to. Mizzy says, I like typo negative for my girlfriend's girlfriend. Oh, that's too not blue. Needs to be more blue. I mixed a little red with my magenta and my blue, and now I need some white. So I'm trying to trying to get a skin tone. Ooh, I like this sort of purpley, purple in a different way. Let's put some more DeWild. Hey, DeWild. The Trouble with Tribbles is pretty iconic. Yeah, yeah. Mm. And didn't you love the DS9 episode where they went back to when that was happening? I thought that was pretty genius. Angry Ham, hello. Hope all is good. Good kval. I'm shaking. I'm shaking my phthalo blue, as you do, as you should do every time before you put it out on the palette. You had a weird doctor's appointment. Rutro. Rutro. Oh, and you're laughing at me too. Or are you grinning? Are you smiling like happy? Or are you just laughing at my mispronunciations? So, weird doctor's appointment. So, I'm guessing that that doesn't mean an appointment with a weird doctor. Is everything okay? Richard Reed says, I've never seen Star Trek. I feel like a fake nerd. Richard, there are plenty of other things to be nerdy about. There are plenty of other things. It's just Star Trek was my mom's favorite TV show when she was pregnant with me, and so that's when I started watching it, really. it's, it's in my mom's uterus. That's when I started watching Star Trek. Ham says, I've had some issues with my wrists. Got in within 5 minutes. He just pointed out, this is bad. Change jobs. Don't lift heavy stuff. Well, that's helpful. That's helpful. And it's so easy to just pick up and change jobs, right? Like, just pick a different career. That's super easy. Trash Panda says, how did I miss that they did a corgi monster for Monster Apocalypse? Wait, who did that? I didn't know that. Trash? Panda? Panda trash? Richard says, that's a lie. There used to be a Star Trek movie I loved growing up when I was like 7, but I have no idea what movie it even was anymore. Are you sure that it was Star Trek? Did it have Captain Kirk in it? Impressive. Most impressive. Ham says, yeah, I wasn't ready for that kind of shallow response. Yeah, that is very disappointing when you're there for help to try and figure things out. Trash Panda says, Privateer Press. I just saw it. It was supposed to be the con exclusive for the year, now available online. Oh, okay. Man, I haven't. So, back when I played Monster Apocalypse was when it was in blind boxes and it was all vinyl pre-painted models. Of course, the Cthulhu faction was the I don't think that's what they called it. I don't remember what they call it. But I've got a bunch of them in a bag here. And that was such a fun game. And I was happy that they came out with a new version of it, but I haven't ever played it, and they never did get around to doing a demo at the last Gen Con we were at. Richard Reed says, I'm guessing it's Star Trek Generations movie, just basing it on the time period. Is that the one with That's the one with Kirk and Picard, right? Other people can correct me if I'm wrong. The one with them and Malcolm McDowell plays somebody villainous, or it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I only saw it in the theater. So I, I don't remember much about it. And honestly, I have trouble remembering the names of all the Star Trek movies. Quiz, hey, how are you? Looking good, Cathy. Also, the miniature looks nice. Thank you so much. Richard says, I know 100% Patrick Stewart was in it. Okay. That's the one I'm thinking of then. Because it combined the generations. I need to mix paint. Oh, I have my mixing brush. Let me put my mixing brush down so I can pick up my mixing brush. That's where my head is right now. I wanted more blue in the skin. More blue, more white. I don't want the skin to be the same color as the hair though. This is where I'm at. My red is a little bit of an orangey red. So if I mix that in with my phthalo blue, it's going to mute the color. It's going to not be as intense, which in this case is probably a good thing. Alright, so we're mixing a little more magenta in with it. Well, let's try this as a mid-tone. We'll try it as a mid-tone, and we'll add a highlight. Then we'll go back and put some shading in again. And then we'll probably throw some more mid-tones on there because that seems to be how I do things. Ham says, I got bamboozled. Alright. I've been having fun figuring out how to use a sable brush. I have used sable brushes before. I used one on that elf bust I was doing last year. I don't think I've really used them much since then though. And probably not on just small models like this. So we're just going in where the midtones would be. Midtones being the thing in between the lightest lights and the darkest darks. We've already added some darks. Possibly not the darkest darks, but now we're putting this sort of purpley color on here. I'm liking how it goes. I wasn't sure. I never am. When I do, I'm never exactly 100% sure what I'm gonna get. So, yeah, it's always interesting. And I wanted to just kind of smooth out the transition between my light and my dark with this color. That's usually what the midtones are for me, is to kind of smooth that transition between the lights and the darks, and also to add a little extra saturation, because I feel like the midtones are where you want the most intense colors, not your shadows or your highlights. You almost want your shadows and highlights to be a little a little drab. I don't have a lot of skin on this. It's mostly the dress. And then, so her face and her shoulders and chest are just kind of the only skin on here. So I think we're okay, and it's not the same shade of blue purple as the hair. Nixel wants to know you hanging out in chat tonight. I'm not sure, Nixel. Wednesday night, I don't know, it's possible. I don't know if anybody's streaming. If I was smart, if I was smart, I would paint and hang out. So I'm actually, getting work done, but that's just silly, right? That's silly, right? Hang out and chat with people and get work done. That just doesn't seem productive. What if our lightest highlights are more pink on the skin part? So we'll throw a little magenta. We'll throw a little blue in, a lot of white, and magenta. It makes such a pretty purple. So there's not going to be any red in this particular color. Richard says, all work and no play makes Cathy a dull girl. All work and no play. Well, I hardly do all work. I do successfully find lots of time to waste in my life. I've wasted a lot of time over the course of my years. Okay, so highlight. Let's see. Just the amount of time alone that I spent wasting in playing Civ. I think I looked it up on Steam. And that doesn't even count the Civ that I used to play before I had Civ on Steam. Like, well over 2,000 hours. I know there are other people who've gamed a lot more. My brother, specifically, being one of them. My brother has been getting into EverQuest again. If you can believe it, that's still a thing, EverQuest. And there is a server that he is on, and he and a bunch of friends of his go, like, I think it's on Monday nights too, unfortunately. Otherwise, I was like, you should come and hang out with us in our painting thing. You should join our Discord and come and hang out on painting night, because that would be awesome. Because my brother is the person that got me into miniature painting 1,000 years ago. Richard says, I'm so glad I don't have access to my WoW account anymore to know how much time wasted. My brother played Evercrack, as they called it, way back in the day before WoW. But then he was also addicted to WoW in such a way that he wouldn't even play it anymore at all. But playing WoW is how he met his wife. So, romance. Yay. Nix, this is Project 99. I don't know what that is, Nix. What is Project 99? Is this another thing that I should know? That I don't know? That I should know? We come play WoW. I will not ever play WoW. I've never played it, and I don't desire to play it. Project 99 is the EverQuest, says Nixel. I don't play. That was just my brother telling me about it. He's a nerd. My brother. My brother is also the reason I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, too. 1,000 years ago. Okay, so face, angry ham, and you are not a nerd. No, no, ham. I'm totally not a nerd at all. Nope. No, no, no. Nope. Nope. Not a nerd. Hey, Mo's Magic. I'm totally not a nerd, right? Mo knows. How are you, Mo? Trash Panda is off for dinner. Have a good dinner, Trash. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out for a little while. See you next time. Mo is doing okay. This is good to hear. Sibstorm says, my mama told me being a nerd is okay because nerds are cool. Did she also tell you that the rest of the kids were just jealous of you because you were smart? That's a lie, by the way. I mean, you are smart, but the kids weren't jealous of you. That's what every mom says to her kid to make them feel better when they're being teased, right? They're just jealous of you, honey. They never say if you'd stop being a know-it-all. No, I'm joking. I did have some friends, though, back in the day. We were all nerds together who could really be know-it-alls. Nobody likes that. But they can't help it, you know? Like sometimes you're just compelled to correct somebody who's wrong, right? It's a compulsion, right? To just kind of like, I know this person is wrong, so I need to tell them the right way of doing it immediately. My brush is too dry. I need, once again, I need to keep my brush more moist. I need to mix more paint. And it's 5 o'clock. I'm not done. I'm not done. I still have to keep going, keep going. Moist. Sibstorm. It's absolutely right. Moist. So we're putting on more magenta and blue and white together here. I think I have the same color that I just mixed, hopefully. I mean, how different could it be? I used the exact same 3 colors. So maybe the amount of each color differs a little bit, but in the end, who cares? Reimer says, if it's moist, it keeps the tip supple. That is 100% correct, Reimer. And I love how you used both those words in that sentence. I appreciate it. Taria, hello, how are you? Welcome. I was just getting ready to wrap things up as soon as I'm done applying this color. Sipstorm supple sounds so sexy. Maybe I needed more white in this. Maybe not. I don't know. I need another highlight color over this one. So this is like, it's funny because usually when I do a highlight, it ends up being a what I call a light midtone as opposed to a dark midtone. So I have my dark midtone and my light midtone. My highlight always ends up being too dark and I have to make another highlight. Which is, but look at that purple skin color. Oh, I'm liking this. I feel good about this. And I definitely need a slightly lighter highlight. So we're going to do that. Hugs all around, right, Turia? Hugs all around. It has been a great stream. Good friends. Lots of hugging going on this stream. You know, virtual hugs. And we'll add a little more magenta to our lighter. And so here's what I did. Here's my mix here. This is blue, magenta, and red. It's these 3 colors and white right there. And then I made this color was my highlight, and that's just white with the blue and the magenta. Now this is a little bit of this color with more white and more magenta. And that's, obviously you can see the value is much lighter. The value of this is a little bit lighter than that. The value of this is a lot lighter than that. So let's see how it works. I feel like it might be almost too light, but we're going to find out. So top of the nose seems like a good place for a highlight. The upper part of the cheek is always a good place for your lightest highlight on a face. Right there. Just underneath the eye. That always seems like a good place for a highlight, for your lightest highlight. The top of the bosom. Another good place for your lightest highlight. And only the top. You don't want to put it all the way down into the cleavage. And you don't want to go too far down the other side. This girl has an interesting clavicle, collarbone. And we just got this highlight right on the top of the shoulders. We don't want to go down the shoulder too far, just the top. Maybe the tip of the chin a little there. We'll hit the top of the shoulder again a little bit. A little bit more. And we're just reinforcing this color now, making it a little more opaque in a slightly smaller area. There. Oh, fingertips. I thought this was her thumb, but it isn't. It's like a sleeve, the cuff from the other sleeve. So at first I had painted that to be her thumb, and then I was like, oh, not actually a thumb. Fingers. Alright, so I think we're at a spot now with her skin where we can put her down. Later, like tomorrow, we'll come back and maybe put some darks in there. We'll work on the hair a little bit more. It's had a chance to dry. The wash on that has. So, yeah, we're in a good spot.
Do you want ants? Because that's how you
Hey,
get
Bill
ants.
Robertson, thank you so much for that sub. Thank you. And that's just in the nick of time because I'm about to raid somebody. I'm not sure who, but we're done for the evening. So good to see you though. So let us see. Who's streaming? Motor City Ray is streaming. Haha, Storm says, also, Motor City Ray is streaming. We will raid Motor City Ray. He's almost never streaming at this time, and this is like the second time, whoops. If I could just type. Underscore. I can type. I totally can type. Ray! So we're gonna go to Motor City Ray. He's painting miniatures. And give him a follow. Say hello in his chat. This is this will be fun. Alright, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central for more painting of these Reaper miniatures. Have a good night, everyone.